Good morning. It's Monday, March 4th. And a couple of days ago, the Amazon workers on Staten Island voted to unionize. And that's very unusual because Amazon has been fighting unionization for a long time. But many other plants in their chain, warehouses mostly, have voted not to unionize. So the conditions at Staten Island, according to the members of the newly formed union, said the working conditions were not great there. And I can appreciate that fact. I worked in a union shop when I was a kid. I worked for District 65, which was a warehouse union, and I worked for Miles Shoes in the warehouse, and I got fired, but it was my own fault. I walked off the job when they wanted me to work overtime, and I was the only employee left in the building, and they wanted me to unload a truck, and I refused. It was Friday night, it was 6 o'clock, and I wanted to get home and get with my buddies and have Friday and Saturday, whatever we were doing. So I left, and on Monday I was fired. But the situation in the Amazon working conditions in the Staten Island warehouse are not what the employees there want. They want better breaks. They want safer working conditions. In their complaints, too many of their people have been injured or hurt or got sick or whatever it is, and that was their major complaint. And of course they want higher wages also. And I don't blame them for asking for all of these things. But I have to recognize something. When you join a union, you're part of a team. You're part of a membership. And everybody in that membership is supposed to be treated equally. But that's not how it really works. People are people, and many people will take advantage of union situations where they're protected. And so they don't have to work as hard as they could or should. They will do things that they can get away with. And it's just human nature. I can tell you that it's human nature. The other bad thing about unions is that you could be an outstanding worker, but you're locked into a contract. You're not getting a raise until it's time to get a raise, you see. So the unions have upsides and downsides, and I don't know if all the people in the warehouse really appreciate that fact yet. Because I remember being a very good worker at a warehouse. It didn't matter. I was going to get paid the same as somebody who worked half as good as me. And that's a problem with unions. And the other problem is that unions are dying all around the country. Only 12% of the population in the United States is now unionized. And I probably have said this before. And most of those unions are government unions, postal workers, New York City workers, state workers. They're all unionized to some degree. And in the police force, you have unions for the patrolmen, the regular, and then they have a sergeant's union, and then they have a lieutenant's union, a union for the officers. So there's lots of unions out there, but many of them are specialized in their government. And when you work for the government, it's different than when you work in private industry. So I am not saying that this is a bad thing. I say that if people really feel that they are being treated badly, then they have no options. They have no options except to fight back, and the union is the way to fight back in their minds. The interesting thing is that this union that they have formed at Amazon is a standalone union. It's not affiliated with the AFL or the CIO. Those organizations even exist today. It's a standalone union. It's an Amazon union. Amazon, of course, is fighting this, and they will probably try to take it to court. Now, this warehouse alone, this is one of two warehouses on the Staten Island area, and it has 8 8,000 employees working in it. That's not a small business, Well, we know Amazon not a small business. But having 8,000 employees in one location is pretty impressive. And then there's another warehouse not far from this one that is now looking to unionize. But I don't know why the union failed to get enough votes in some other Amazon installations. Now, I know that Amazon fought hard against the union. They don't want to have to deal with unions. And I don't know if everything that is being said about them is true, because employees expect certain things and employers expect certain things. So I don't know how true any of the reports I'm getting are true. So they're saying the working conditions are bad, and that's why they're doing it, and it's dangerous to work there, and they have high levels of injuries and stuff in the plant. And Amazon is not prepared to pay them for not working and stuff like that. So I don't know. I don't know what the real facts of this case are. We get two different stories, which is not unusual. That is not an unusual situation. But I can tell you that my union experiences with District 65 were pretty good. I mean, yes, I did get fired, but I deserved it probably because I left the place. But I didn't feel that they had the right to make me work overtime. But it was a special situation. I got fired. That was perfectly okay with me. Because then I went down to the union hiring hall and I got another job, a much better job, and it was in the Bronx. A 20-minute subway ride instead of the hour and 10-minute subway ride, and the pay was better. It was a toy warehouse. We shipped a lot of toys, and we were busy as hell in the Christmas season. October, November, December, shipping toys all over the country. That was a big deal. It was a great job. And then in February, we got laid off for a couple of months because the toy business slowed down. So that was okay too, because I was a young man and I was collecting unemployment insurance. That was pretty good. And then they called me back in June and we started working again. In fact, I was in charge of a warehouse down on 138th Street and Park Avenue. With only two of us working in the warehouse. We were emptying it. So I spent the summer doing that, and then I decided I'm going back to college, and I left the job, and I left the union. But all in all, my union experiences weren't bad. And the working conditions in a lot of warehouses are not easy. So I can appreciate everything that the workers in Staten Island wanted to do, and I wish them well. And I also understand Amazon's opposition to the union. They don't want to be tied into certain things. And I don't know what the real benefits are. I have to do some research and find out what an Amazon employee gets without a union. And then you can measure it and decide whether or not it was good to have a union. So that's what I have to say this morning. And we'll just have to keep an eye on this, because it would be very interesting, because Amazon has warehouses all over this country. And if this continues, this could be a major factor in their running their business in the future. So have a great day, and I'll see you in the morning. Bye.